McCombs had Babe try the javelin, the baseball throw, the shot put, the high jump, and the broad jump, now called the long jump. He gave her some basic instruction. Then she began to train. She had to be the greatest, the best in any sport she tried, and she was willing to work hard. I trained and trained and trained, she wrote. I've been that way in every sport I've taken up. Members of the Golden Cyclones track and field team were given time off from the office to practice in the afternoon, but that wasn't enough to satisfy Babe. I'd like to go out to Lakeside Park at night and practice by myself until it got dark, which wasn't until 9 or 9:30 at that time of year, she wrote. If there was a good, clear moonlight, I might keep going even longer. The night before her first track meet, she worked extra hard. She practiced her step timing for the broad jump and for the high jump. She spent about 2 hours at that, then finished off by running the 440-yard dash. Instead of pacing herself, she wanted to see if she could sprint all the way. Well, I just barely made it to the finish line, she wrote. I fell face down on the grass. I was seeing stars. I must have laid there 15 or 20 minutes before I could get up. When she told Colonel McCombs about it the next morning, he said, "What are you trying to do? Kill yourself?" I think he admired me for working so hard, wrote Babe. As Babe intended, the hard work paid off. In her first track meet in May 1930 at Southern Methodist University, she entered 4 events: the broad jump, the high jump, the 100-yard dash, and the 440-yard dash. She won all of them. That summer, in a succession of track meets, Babe seemed unbeatable. She took the first 10 gold medals she won and made a bracelet out of them. By her 19th birthday on June 26, she had collected 18 gold medals. And by the time the track season ended in September, she held Southern AAU records in the high jump, the 8-pound shot put, and the broad jump, and national AAU records in the javelin and baseball throw. Her 1930 javelin throw of 133 feet 6 inches was unofficially considered a world record before 1932, when officials began to keep more formal records. Bursting with confidence, Babe told Tiny Skurlock, "Oh yeah, right after the track season, I am going to train for the Olympics in 1932. Babe also competed in the other employers' casualty teams. She played doubles tennis, was a power hitter in softball, and performed in exhibitions of springboard and platform diving. The company's diving team was billed as Mildred Didrikson and her employer's casualty girls. But it was in basketball and track and field that Babe really shone. During the 1931 basketball season, she scored an average of 32 points per game as she led the Golden Cyclones to an AAU national championship. Once again, she was selected an All-American. That summer, she continued to collect gold medals in track and field events. At the National AAU meet in Jersey City, New Jersey, she had the admiring eye of the entire sports press as she set new records in the baseball throw, broad jump, and 80-meter hurdles. Sports columnist Arthur Daly of the New York Times called her a new feminine athletic marvel, this remarkably versatile girl, and reported that the crowd of 15,000 looked on in amazement as Babe went through her paces. Babe caused tremendous excitement that day in Jersey City. When the AAU meet ended, the crowd poured out of the stands onto the field to get a closer look at this phenomenal new star. Mounted police had to move in to clear the field. Back in Texas, the Dallas Morning News ran a big photo spread of Babe, calling her the ace of the local Golden Cyclones and the world's outstanding all-round feminine athlete. 2 years earlier, she had been playing sandlot baseball. Now she was garnering headlines as the world's best. Babe was enormously proud of the press coverage she was getting. My picture was in the center, blown way up big, she boasted of one newspaper story. There were just little headshots of the others. Man, I just loved that. She had never been shy, and she had plenty to brag about now. Her cocky attitude offended some of her teammates, who complained that she was no longer the modest, likable girl they had once known. I admit I admired Babe because of all the things she could do, one teammate recalled. But some of the other gals really resented her. She was out for Babe, honey. Just Babe. Babe felt that her teammates were envious. What they really resented, she suspected, was all the attention she was getting. But she worried about their chilly attitude and considered leaving the Cyclones for another team. Heck, Tiny, she wrote. If I get me another offer, I'm going to take it. These girls are just like they were in Beaumont High School, jealous and more so because they are all here and trying to beat me. But they can't do it. Babe reacted by becoming even more boastful and cocky than before. She cultivated a swaggering, hard-boiled, tough kid image, wore her hair in a short bob, and dressed as she pleased. When a reporter commented on her masculine features and almost complete absence of feminine frills, Babe told him, I know I'm not pretty, but I do try to be graceful. In the eyes of her teammates, she was a brash and self-centered young woman, and she was judged harshly. But her boasting, more than anything, was a display of the confidence she felt in her abilities and an expression of her joy in winning. An athlete needs that kind of confidence to be a winner. If Babe had been a young male athlete, her boastful posturing would have been considered healthy and natural. As a young woman during the early 1930s, however, she was expected to be modest and demure. Meanwhile, she was under constant pressure to send home as much money as she could. America's Great Depression, a bleak and discouraging period of widespread unemployment and poverty, had started with the stock market crash of 1929 and seemed to be getting worse all the time. Babe's father was having trouble finding work, and the family had come to depend heavily on Babe's help. She managed to get a raise from Employers Casualty to $90 a month, but her salary never seemed enough, and she received no bonuses or extra pay for her athletic triumphs. Babe's family always had their hands out to her, said Ruth Skurlock. She was under a lot of pressure all the time. She never had as much money as they thought she did, but they wanted her to give, give, give. Despite these worries, 1932 turned out to be a banner year for Babe. She played brilliantly during the basketball season and was named All-American for the third year in a row. Then she began to train in earnest for the AAU National Track and Field Championships, to be held in Evanston, Illinois in July. That year, the AAU meet and the Olympic tryouts were being combined in a single event. Those athletes who were successful at Evanston would also win places on America's 1932 Olympic team. Babe had worked out a strenuous training program with Colonel McCombs, one designed to build her strength and endurance for the all-important AAU meet. Up at dawn, she would run 2 miles before breakfast, then shower and eat, then go out to the field to practice every event she wanted to enter. She was given plenty of time off to get herself ready. One day at work, McCombs called Babe into his office. I've been studying the records of the girls on the other teams that will be in the meet, he said. I think if you enter enough different events, you can do something that's never been done before. I believe we can send you up there to represent the employer's casualty company, and you can win the national championship for us all by yourself. McCombs had great confidence in Babe, but he worried about her intensity, her almost fanatical determination to win. Never before in my life had I seen a man or woman to compare with Babe Didrikson for natural ability, he told a reporter. She has no equal. Her only fault is that she unconsciously and unknowingly overtrains. Also, Babe's juvenility and nervous energy oftentimes works to her disadvantage. She has a tendency to brood over coming events.